Just the Tips.
All right, everybody, it's Adam and Mike here at the virtual Just the Tips studio. Getting closer, man.
Yeah, dude. How's it looking, man?
It's getting there, for sure. Again, we got the TV hung. We're working on some launch monitors, some hitting bays. We got some AstroTurf coming, which I appreciate.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
man.
here at the gym, so this is what I got.
You look like you're in prison. Are you being detained against your will?
Sometimes it feels like prison, especially when I'm here all day. I was here at 5 a.m. It's 5 p.m. and I'm still here. So
I got you. Are you tied to that piece of equipment? Are they coming in to waterboard you later or what?
no, I'm good. It just sometimes I feel like I am a piece of equipment in here. I could be.
So it's funny because to play golf in the middle of the day, sometimes you have to schedule time out of the gym. But you've been in at 5 in the morning. You have clients coming in at 7 o'clock at night sometimes, right?
Yeah. So a lot of times, if I want that like noon to like 3 time, I gotta like block it off on my schedule. Otherwise, I'm not getting out.
Mrs. Paddock knows that because in the summertime she's like, "What's he doing? Trying to get a workout." And I'm like, "Come play golf with us."
She knows what I'm doing.
So what do we got? Episode 68.
68, man. Yeah.
All right. Well, the next episode is going to be a very special episode, episode 69. Make sure you tune in because we'll have a special guest on here. But you said nobody cares, said not to ruin it, right?
I didn't say that. I said when we're doing that, it's going to be cool. But talking about it, we'll just let them know when it comes out.
All right.
Well, we got more important stuff to talk about. But first, let's give a shout out to our sponsors.
So our title sponsor for the Just the Tips podcast, MyMedicareNY.com. That's MyMedicareNY.com. Title sponsor of Just the Tips. If you're 65 or approaching 65 and you need some help navigating the ever-changing world of the national and New York Medicare system, give these guys a call. As a U.S. citizen, you've earned the health insurance, but there's parts of it that are free. There's parts of it that you have to pay for. There's parts of it that they get changed in the future. And long story short, though, is Mike and his team at MyMedicareNY.com. They're the experts. They're going to walk you through it. They're going to make it real easy for you to understand. If you got the right plan, they'll tell you. If there's a different plan you need, they'll tell you. They might even be able to save you money off of your supplemental product.
So, guys, let's check the link down in the description below. Super easy, free consultation. There's no harm. Just go on there, check, and make sure that you're doing everything right, and they will take care of you guys.
There you go. So, like I said, dude, we talked balls last week. Did we have an upcoming a lot of golf? Did you buy new balls,
dude? So just got back from Massachusetts and was in Golfer's Warehouse, of course. Content coming soon of that.
Okay.
I forgot to screenshot my list from last week. If you guys didn't check out last week's schedule, go ahead and check that out. We have a link in the description to a quiz that will help you get fitted for which golf balls are best for you. Me and you are actually in the same range. So you were Chrome Softs, right? Chrome Soft. Just Chrome Soft. Yeah. Not like a Chrome Soft Tour or anything like that, right?
So
I checked for those.
Yeah.
They didn't have a dozen. They didn't have 1 dozen of white tri-tracks. They did have 24. 24?
Really?
Yeah. Does that sound right? 24? But it was like a square box.
So
what did they do? Like, what do they do? That would be
I've never seen that.
8 stacks. 8. Yeah, it was weird. And it was $99. And I was like, maybe I'll get them. Maybe I didn't. I didn't get them. I don't want you to get excited. I did not buy them for you.
But then I went to the list. Golf balls, so.
I went to the list, and I did get. I got a new ball that I've never played. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll see it this weekend. But I just picked up a new ball because the old ball that I used to like, my go-to ball was TP5X.
Right.
And TP5Xs are not on that list. TP5s are.
Okay.
And I always played Pro V1X, and those are not on the list. It's Pro V1. So I said, I'm going to get this other one. You know, I'll play Pro V1s when people give them to me, or I find them, or I'll get a dozen for Christmas or something like that. I'll play them.
Yeah.
And I like them, but I've played them before, right? I played TP5s. I played them before. I'm going to try this new ball. So we're going to test it out and see how it goes.
All right. You're not going to tell me what it is, but I'm going to take a guess. I'm guessing it's not the Volvic Vivid. We've
Not the
decided
Volvic Vivid. Do I look
not.
like a Volvic Vivid kind of guy?
You don't want the answer to that question. You don't want me answering that on the podcast. With that said, though, I'm going you. I could imagine you being a Bridgestone guy. I could imagine you and Tiger, you and the guy from St. Andreas, Bridgestone guys all the way. So, like I said, we won't find out. We're playing this weekend. So when you tee up that new Bridgestone, I'll say I was right. I can see you. All right.
So I'm driving on the Mass Pike today, and I'm looking over at this guy who was driving in the left lane, which, you know, is basically Adam. And I'm just like looking at him. I'm like, this guy looks like he plays a Volvic Vivid. That's how he drives. You drive like you look like you play like a Volvic Vivid.
Me?
That's the new insult.
No way.
Yeah, you too. But that's why I won't let you drive the car either. You brought up something this morning about driving in a car. I was like, no, dude, you play a Volvic Vivid. You're not driving a car.
So let me guess. It was a 14-year-old gray Toyota Prius, right? One wobbly wheel, right?
No.
There was a lot of bumper
One
stickers
higher up than that. One higher up than that. The worst car on the road.
What's the worst car on the road?
The worst driving vehicle. It's a white Subaru.
A white Subaru. Any model, any year, any style, white Subaru. Yes. All right. I gotcha. There's a lot of WRX fans out there right now that are arguing with you.
Yeah, anyway. No, not those. All right, not those, okay? Not those ones.
Not the rally car?
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right, let's get into this, dude. We got something really important that we want to talk about.
So we're working our way through fitting, right? So now, at this point, if you're following along, you should have taken a test and be fitted for your ball, right? So you got the ball, by the way, saved me about $8,000 this year when Jamie found out the ball she should be playing is $19 instead of $60 a dozen. But one of the important things, and we've seen it come up a lot lately, is proper grip fitting, right? So as you start your season, you know, if you're playing 100 rounds a season, or, you know, your clubs are a few years old, grab those clubs and grab yourself some shaft wipes. And if that grip is not tacky, if it's not sticky, you have an opportunity not only to, you know, replace your grips, but also get fitted for the right grips.
Yeah, so like you said, I mean, I think I've asked around. I think a general consensus is, depending on how much you play, obviously, getting new grips every season, right? It's nice. They feel good. They're fresh. You know, we play 100-plus rounds a season. You're getting regripped every year.
Not to mention the practice.
And the practice, yeah. So, like you said, you have an opportunity now to, in between seasons, if you're going to regrip them, you better be buying the right grips. And how do we know if we're buying the right grips? Well, guess what?
What?
There's a quiz out there.
So before we dive into the quiz, let me ask you, in the past, when you've regripped your clubs, what did you do? What was your process? Was it color? Was it manufacturer? Was it style? How did you determine what kind of grips?
Color would probably be last. Well, here's the deal. I was about to regrip my clubs the last time, and I just got new clubs instead.
Just buy new clubs. You're like the guy where you go in to change your tires and you come out with a new car, right?
Yeah. This car looks. It's got new tires on it.
Yep, exactly. The other one needed new tires. This one's got new tires.
That's how I was with the clubs. I'm like, they come with new grips.
There you go.
But I have looked in the past when buying grips of like what I should be getting. And the quizzes, I don't have my computer in front of me because I'm at work, but I do remember, because I looked at it last night as well. They do ask you a few questions, and it's more about preference and feel, but you also have to get the right size grips. So you have to measure your hand. So the biggest thing that they want you to do is you're measuring from, just below the palm of the hand to the tip of your middle finger. And then, whatever that is going to determine, standard, mid-size, jumbo, that kind of thing. And then they also want you to measure the length of your middle finger. I'll do it this way. Just to, have those two measurements on figuring out what size grip that you need. And that is super important, right? I mean, I don't know why anyone would think that it's not important, right? And if you're following along and you follow our channel, thank you. But you probably also follow YouTube Golf. And Bryson DeChambeau and John Daly played a break 50 match together. And it was one of the biggest things that John Daly pointed out was like, one of the biggest mistakes that amateurs do is they don't get fitted for grips. And I think it kind of went viral, like a snippet of that went viral about him saying that.
So I saw that too, and again, like I always do, it kind of brought me back to when I was a kid playing at Rondout Country Club. I used to re-grip clubs back there. Re-gripping clubs is not a difficult thing to do. Don't let anybody tell you it's there's not a high degree of skill to it. But back in the day, you had two sizes of grips. You had regular and you had jumbo. And jumbo was like having a loaf of Wonder Bread on the end of your club, right? And standard was really thin. You could almost feel the shaft at the bottom of the grip. I remember working with John of the grip. Yeah, I remember working with John DeForest, the pro, and he was a bigger guy, taller guy, bigger hands, and we would double and triple up the amount of tape that was underneath the grip to make it bigger for his hands. But that was really all your control was how many layers of tape would you put on there. Now the average golfer never thought about it, and unless you had gigantic hands or you had like bad arthritis, you just played standard grips. Today, how many different sizes of grips are there?
Well, I think there's standard, there's mid-size, and then there's jumbo. And then I think they have one under standard. Mm-hmm. And then they also have this like something like in between standard and mid-size that's like a +4, they call it. There's a bunch of different variations. Then there's some that, like especially in these quizzes, that if you, like depending on your hand size, if it's kind of like this in-between hand size, they tell you to like double wrap the tape underneath. They're like telling you in these quizzes. So I guess that's a big thing.
So the nice thing is for the quiz, you don't really need a quiz. If you're going to get new grips, just like you would go buy new shoes, go get the right size, right? You wouldn't buy the size 2 sizes too small or 2 sizes too big. You'd get the right size. Today, you go see your.
I will say this, right? So a lot of the places, especially Golfers Warehouse, that I was just at, they have those little. Ooh, sorry, I dropped you there, buddy. They have those the little handles with the grips on them for you to feel. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't like that. I want to feel them on a club. I want to feel what it feels like on a club with the weight.
I think you're getting to the other point though, and I know what you're saying. It's like the grip and then like 4 inches of the shaft coming down out of the grip. But when I say
there's no weight to it.
But when I say size, get the right size, whatever the right size is. But then we get into the other thing, right? So when I was a kid, there was only a couple of styles of grips. There was tour wraps, which were black and they were like old leather, but they were made of rubber, right? And it was like twisted down. There was no cords, half cords, and full cords. And that was the amount of, it was just the cording that was in there. And if you were a full core guy, it meant that you were a contractor and you had calluses that were, you could bang nails in with your hands. And if you were a delicate, guy who didn't have any calluses, you'd get no cord, right? Those were your options. today, I mean, just for lack of a better something to do, punch in on Amazon golf grips, and you see there's 5,000 different styles, and then inside each style comes the thing. So this is where I think when you're saying is hey, I really want to feel what that feels like. It's more about the style, what it's made of, what all those things, rather than the size.
I would guess that's. I want to say maybe not style, maybe material. Obviously size, right? So let's go size first, right? Like, so you got to measure the hand and the finger, and that'll determine whether you're standard, mid-size, or jumbo. And then you go, now these quizzes start asking you what your preferences are, right? So when you have, hey, I like moisture, I need moisture wicking, right? All right, yes or no, or I kind of want, I want that tacky feel, or I want moisture wicking, or kind of a combination of both. Those are three different materials that you would choose from. So if you pick, I like the tacky feel, then it sends you on to the next question. If you pick, I would need the weather one, right? If you live in Puerto Rico and it rains every other day, then you need something like that that's more, secure for that. And then it sends you into a questionnaire that way. You know what I mean? And then it goes into like what you were saying.
Yep. And then there's softer ones. I know the Governor plays a very soft grip, even though he's got a jump or a larger a mid-size or an oversized grip. It's very soft. And the grips are really expensive, and you go through them really quick. I play the Golf Pride. I just like a Titleist. I think Golf Pride is probably the number one grip in golf. They're not inexpensive, but they really hold up well. I think they're kind of all performance.
They're not inexpensive.
They're not
that's what I said. Inexpensive. This is what he's saying. Is they are expensive.
Yeah, because you start talking $15 a grip by 10 clubs. $150.
It's $150.
And then Dick's or the PGA Superstore wants $7, $8, $9, $10 to put them on. All of a sudden, you're $250 to regrip your clubs.
So I will say this. Yeah. I will say this. Most places like Dick's, PGA Superstore, I never got a club regrip there. I have gotten a club regripped at Golfers Warehouse in Massachusetts. Both charge you a fee. Now, Golfers Warehouse was like $4, regardless if you buy it from them or not. It's $4. And I think PGA Superstore is the same way. It's probably a little bit more. Dick's, though, when I did get my wedges, I had my 54 and my 58 regripped. If you bought the grip from them, installation was free, which was really cool.
You know where you should get your grips done? It's a little more expensive, but it's worth it. Is in San Juan, Puerto Rico, by the Master Club fitter Hector Blanco. It's the flight and the hotel are the expensive part, but the rest
other than that, it's not too bad.
Very, very reasonable. But here's the thing: is again, like when my kids were small, I change out their grips every season for two reasons. One, they always wanted a special color. Maddie wanted purple, and Eric wanted, black and red like Darth Vader. So you could buy the cheaper grips, kind of knowing that you were going to replace them every year. So you start buying grips, Amazon closeout, colors and stuff like that, $2, $3, $4 a grip. But if you're getting into performance and you're going to play a zillion rounds, those, $12, $15, $18 grips are the way to go. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, too, is you say, okay, well, I'm the weekend golfer, or, I play in league once a week. I can use the cheaper grips. They dry rot. They dry out, and they get flaky and weird after a season.
They flake and start getting all over your hands and your gloves.
Yeah. So, again, if you're picking those, the more expensive ones are going to last more seasons. They're not going to rot out. I mean, again, you're leaving your clubs outside in the winter under the porch. They're not going to be great. But in general, like I said, Titleist golf ball, Golf Pride grips. You want the $2 grips. It's the Volvic Vivid of grips. All
right, so let's go into this as like your options, right? So when you go into stores like Dick's or PGA Superstore or Golfers Warehouse or even your local head pro, right? Yeah. And don't get me wrong, your head pro can do this for you. It's the measurement is obviously the most important. Then it goes into preference of feel, whether or not you, like you were saying, like soft or firm or weatherproofing or, whatever it is. And then it turns into color, right? Like color to me is less. Like I saw a set today that was perfect black and gold for the Just the Tips channel. So then I started looking at it. I was like, oh, let me look at these. Let me see, because I'm mid-size. So I'm looking. They had them in standard. I'm looking over here. I'm looking. All right, let me make it to the mid-size section, and I don't see any black and gold, right? Guess what? Just because they're black and gold, I'm not getting them because they're not the right size, right? I do like the half cord, so let's explain what half cord means. You want to explain it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm for lack of a better term, they weave a fiber into the grip that's exposed through the rubber. So think about it this way: if it was just the rubber or the material of the grip, it could be tacky when they're new. They could be a little slick when you get humid or when the grips start to wear. But when they put that cording in there, again, it gives you an extra layer of grip. It reminds me like putting,
Yeah, like something like on your tires, right? Like the cord in like whatever you put on in the wintertime. What is that?
It's kind of like putting chains on your tires in the wintertime. Just not as dramatic, but you see it. The one thing though is it will tear up your hands. It will tear up your gloves. Now, if you're playing all the time, or you're somebody with some calloused hands, those cords are great because it does give you that extra grip. Now they've eased up over time. What I like though is that you're running into, like, especially the Golf Pride, and there's a bunch of them out there. They're like several different materials. You might have a little softer, but with a cord on the bottom, and a little firmer and no cord on the top. So where your hands go are a little bit different. Right?
Yeah.
So
would that be a full cord or a half cord?
No, so the cording is, if it's full, it means from the top of the grip to the bottom of the grip, all the way around is corded.
But you would notice a difference throughout the thing based on like where your hands are on a full cord.
Yep. So then a half cord could be one of two half cords, right? It could be the lower half. I've never seen them on the top. They probably exist, but I've never seen them. But the bottom of it. So the bottom half of the grip. So you know what? I got a golf club right here. I should just demonstrate with this. So from here to here would be corded, right? From here to here.
What grip do you have on there?
This is one of Maddie's old ones. So this is a TaylorMade. It came with the club, right? Yeah. But the other ones are bisected, right? So half of it, the bottom would have the cord and the top wouldn't, right? So that's the other way it can be half corded. That's a little more old fashioned, but you still see them out there.
And that's mainly because you have the glove on the top, right? You have your glove hand on the top and a bare hand on the bottom. So now on your bare hand, you have some feel and some control of that.
Well, it's where your fingers are in the grip, right? So when you think about it, like, you don't have a lot of pressure other than your thumbs maybe on the top of the club, but the grip is actually in your fingers, even when you have 9 instead of 10. So those half cords, or it's the bottom hand, right? So those are the two places where you might have half cord, right? And then you could have none, like just like these. I mean, these are women's clubs, and these were for my daughter when she first started playing. So they're as soft as you can get. They're very narrow. There's no cording. They're going to be as gentle on your hands as possible, while still
they do have some
tacky.
Texture to it.
Yeah, yep. So that that goes into the last thing that I have, and I'd be interested to get your opinion on it because it's really important to me. But how important is the design of the club or of the grip for you? Does the design don't care? Okay.
All I care about is performance.
Well, for me, it's wicked important, and I'll tell you why. Those Golf Pride grips, they have several bands they look like decorations, and on the top there's a spot that's just a little. It looks like a dash or an underscore. I'm telling you, I put my thumb on that same spot every time. When I put these TaylorMades, it's going to be hard to see, but you can see here that the design, right, is actually where you put your thumb and forefinger, right? So when you put it on here, Why? That's what the design's for. You put your thumb here.
And I already forgot that you told me that last summer.
And that gives you the perfect
because now
grip,
it's natural to me. Now it's natural to me because you said, because on the golf prides, they have a little V. And you're like, dude, that's kind of where you put your thumb. And, you know, if you don't have a perfect grip or if you've kind of adjusted your grip over the years, you told me like just a little stronger to the V. And I'm like, I was just like, I punched myself later that day because I was like, dude, why didn't I really think of that? And it's probably because most of my grips are probably like the one you have there where it's original manufacturer grip, right? TaylorMade doesn't really do a ton of designs on theirs. Honestly, when you asked this question, I thought you meant like on that TaylorMade, they're probably diamonds, right? I can't really see it, but yeah, they're diamonds. That's kind of what I thought you were talking about with design, but you were talking about the lines, all those little things. And yes, they do make a huge difference when you
I'll give you an
it.
example. When I had my 770s, they were stock length, and I'm not a tall guy, so I would always choke down. So there's a dot on there, and I knew when my thumb covered the dot that I was in the right spot, right? So I had the Ping I-530s custom made, and they're a 1/4 inch short and 2 degrees flat, right? It's not a big difference, right? But my thumb now is on top of that dot on the golf pride grip, right? So
yeah, but remember it took you like 2 or 3 rounds to I don't have to choke up on these anymore.
100%, I was thinning the ball. Now the other thing too is when you got the ball above or below your feet, right? So like my 3-wood, that one's like really delicate. If the ball's an inch below my feet, I gotta bend my knees or grip up on the grip a 1/4 inch. If the ball's above my feet, I might grip down an inch or 2. But using those designs on there helps you adjust to where it should be, at least to some degree, at least to me.
But I mean, this is part of the reason why I wanted to do this podcast, because this should be common sense. Like, this is the one part of the club that you're touching that's going to help you hit that ball consistent, straight, how you want to. And it's highly overlooked.
Yeah. So
I was one of them.
Yeah. Think about back in the 1940s and 1950s. Ben Hogan, arguably one of the greatest golfers of all time. He was really was like nuts about the grip. About what would happen if you adjusted your grip. But they didn't have any marking on there. They literally had leather bands wrapped around, a hickory shaft or eventually glued to a metal shaft. It was like, that tennis racket wrap, right? But he knew, and he said it in his books 100 times, in his articles. If Jack Brino was here, he'd tell you just what you said. Your only connection to hitting the ball is where you grip the club. It's the most important thing you do. And like you said, highly overlooked.
Highly overlooked because, everybody sees that shiny head of that TaylorMade or that Ping or whatever, and they're like, oh, these are the ones. Yeah, get me that. Yep, cool. Well, what about the other end that is the part you're actually touching? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's and I'll be honest, I remember last summer being at the driving range at Ascot, and I was I don't know what I was doing. I was probably hitting 1,000 balls, and I needed to take a break, and I just sat and kind of watched, and I was just kind of thinking, and I was watching you, and I kept looking over at your hands and your grip because you kind of have that little trigger finger down there too. And I started asking you some questions, and then you started giving me some more information about that finger, and then the V, and all of these things, and I was like, wow, to be honest, nobody's ever gone into that much, that small of a detail when it came to the golf swing.
Yeah. But like I said, it's the foundation of the golf swing. So, But
you got to check the bloopers, guys. I have a blooper reel from 2024 of Adam trying to be the index finger and the
Yeah, I don't know what all the fingers are called unless I sing the song about the three little piggies, you know. So, but so listen,
I'm gonna
man.
put that up in the corner.
We wanted a shorter podcast today. Bottom line is, today we're shooting this. It's the first day of spring. The weather in the Northeast has been unseasonably nice. If you haven't been out yet, you're going to be out real soon. But take this opportunity. Take a look at your clubs. We don't have a grip sponsor. We should have a grip sponsor. But it's the first thing you should look at, right? Hey, are my grips in good shape? Are they the right size? Am I gripping them right? Answer those three questions for you and start your season off on the right foot. The right
Measure your hand,
right hand.
Right? That's the first thing, right? Measure your hand. And,
Yep.
it's a range, just like the length of your clubs, right? And we can talk about that on another podcast. But, standard length of club covers most people that are like 5'7" to 6'1", 6'2", something like that. It's a range. Same thing with the hand size.
Well, as we move down the club, I mean, naturally, the next thing we talk about is shafts. Same thing. There's a zillion different types of shafts. There used to be gender-specific shafts. That's not
another
really the
podcast,
same.
dude. Another
podcast.
But,
exactly.
I'm just saying,
and length.
So
Yep.
hand size. If you're anywhere between 7.5 to like 9 inches or whatever, that's one size. And then whatever. Check it out. I'll put the link in the description below. Check that out, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe because we're going to be coming out with a ton more of information about these very specific things that's going to help your game.
There you go.
And, listen, if we can get a grip sponsor, that'd be pretty sweet.
It would be. Again, listen, I know we want to cut this short. You and I got some travel to do. We still got a lot of stuff to do. You packed yet?
No.
No? Me neither. So
No, I don't need that much. Just need like 2 days of stuff.
I know. But again, I'm very excited. But I can't wait to look good. I might have to do a little wash. Let's do this, though. Sponsors real quick. Go to golfleague.com. Hit on Saturday Skins. Go to their producers page and take a look at the shirts. Saturday Skins shirts. They come in extra small all the way to 6X. They're UV protectant. They are an everyday wear on the course. And
so good.
Bold designs, awesome colors. What do we say? Buy your shirt. Buy your shirt, right?
Bay cigars, buy your cigars. I mean, I don't know. You love to talk about the sponsors on like giving them things. Like, listen, we're telling you guys these things because this is what we do. Like Adam, I actually asked all the guys on the trip. They love the cigars. All right, so buy your cigars.
Yep.
Sundogs. I don't have mine. You got yours?
Wore them today. I gotta get a couple of new pairs. It's been it's just one of those things I'm procrastinating.
I love my Sundogs.
You got a bunch of pairs though, man. So awesome.
And it's crazy because like whatever the new one is, I love it just even more than the last one.
There you go. Shout out to Shaft Wipes. Use them to wipe down your grips. Then wipe your shafts, then wipe your heads, then wipe your shoes, then wipe your balls. You get all one out of
golf balls.
Either way, but you can get one.
Bring those.
One cleaning cloth. I will. One cleaning cloth will do the whole thing for you. So
speaking of, I need those because my 54 grip. I need to get the 54 regrip. So I need the shaft wipe that'll hold me over until I get it regrip.
Well, here's your old one. There you go.
Who we got? We got shaft wraps.
Shaft wraps. Get your shaft wraps. Like I said, they'll hook you up black or.
Listen. Comment down below if you want custom Just a Tips shaft wrap, and we'll send you one.
We'll send it to you.
And make that wedge look awesome. My 58. Once you put that on my 58, it started working.
Yeah.
Just
so
saying.
I had. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I had one of the girls from the golf team didn't have a sand wedge, so I had one of my old Vokies from last year, and I said use this until you get something, and she's chipping with it, and she goes, "What is this?" I go, "What?" And it had the Augusta topographical map shaft wrap on that Vokey. And I told her, she's like, that's awesome. You know, so like I said, get your shaft
And then
wrap.
you got custom Wedgewoods. All right, check those out, guys. Check all the links down below. Use the codes to get 15% off on most of this stuff. Listen, like, subscribe, follow.
Help us
check
out.
us out on Instagram, TikTok, and we love you guys. Thank you for listening. We every week we hear more and more people talk about the previous podcast that they listen to, and they kind of talk to us, and they like certain things, or they say, "Oh, you guys need to talk about this next." We do truly appreciate it. Feel free to come up to us and give us, if you have any questions and want us to address on a podcast, just let us know.
Yeah, and if you want, like in the old days when you used to get together with friends to watch like Seinfeld or Friends like on a Thursday night, do the same thing. Get a bunch of people together and watch the podcast, right? And we'll invite us and we'll come watch it with you.
But all on separate phones so that we get all the views.
That's true too. That's true too. Yep. Watch it on 6 devices, all right? But listen, dude, I'm looking forward to our trip. We got some unbelievable comments or content coming to you. Some special guests. We're making some ridiculous connections. And you guys know when we go away that we always bring back cool stuff. So I'm excited. We'll talk to you guys next week. I'm Adam.
All right. I'm Mike. Just the
tips.
Just the tips.